Everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand. Jessop's Journal is a collection of powerful, positive, and inspirational stories. It's time for Jessop's Journal.
I'm Doug Jessop. Welcome to Jessop's Journal. In this episode, we horse around a bit with powerful, positive, and inspirational stories. First in the chute is a kid that redefines the term getting back on the horse, rodeo rider Braxten Nielsen. We also visit with a woman that not only does she love horses, but man, she can cook. Oh my gosh, Food Network star Waylynn Lucas. We also remind you where your food comes from and visit the Nye Family Dairy Farm. We're also going to have singing cowboy Chris Petersen.
Every mile of blacktop highway.
But first, Braxten Nielsen. Braxten, it's time to sign in the book.
All right.
Welcome to this entry of Jessop's Journal. Today we've got Braxten Nielsen, rodeo man. He's on a horse named Suzu. Something like that?
Yeah, that was pretty good. That's a good introduction. I think he should honestly try out to be a rodeo announcer.
Thanks, Braxten. Thanks for coming on Jessop's Journal today. You've been a rodeo guy for quite a while. A little horse named Suzu kind of, rang your bell.
Yes, it did. It was a life-changing horse.
Tell me about that horse. What happened?
August 31st, 2017, I was pro rodeoing and was sitting fifth in the wilderness circuit, trying, every cowboy's dream, trying to eventually make it to the NFR.
Yeah.
And this horse, I drew Sozo, awesome horse, reared over in the chute, tacoed me, and I heard a loud pop, and legs went numb, and the horse still came out of the chute. I hit the ground, and when I hit the ground, the saying when a cowboy gets bucked off, you get back on, you get back up. And as I tried to get back up, because that horse ran over, it broke my T12 and L1, twisted my spinal cord and pinched it severely, and it was life-changing. Ended my career in the bareback riding, and let alone that, told I was never going to walk again, less than 5% chance to walk again.
Wow. How many horses had you ridden before that?
Oh, a couple hundred probably.
Wow.
Honestly.
So all of a sudden you say, okay, this is the thing that you love. This is your profession. This is more than just a hobby. This is part of who you are.
Yeah.
What happened next?
I really, at the time, didn't know what was going to happen. Being told I wouldn't walk again, I thought, okay, I'm going to be wheelchair bound. About 2 weeks after the accident, I was sitting in the hospital bed. We've been down to therapy. We're trying to get things to work. And I was picturing, I'm a big believer in a positive mindset.
Right.
And I was picturing myself, I'd go through this mental exercise where I'd picture myself in a mirror as I'm laying in my hospital bed. And I'd picture myself in front of this mirror, and I'd flex, and I was strong. I'd flex my legs. They were strong. And then I'd picture myself on a bareback horse, and I'd try to make a motion. And I truly believe that mindset and seeing it in your mind before you do it physically. Well, as I was making that motion, my brother was by my side at the hospital, and he seen a small twitch in my thigh. I mean, it was just a hairline. I mean, he barely seen it. He said, "Braxten, hey, your leg twitched." And I looked at it, and I couldn't get it to twitch again. And we waited for about 5 minutes, and I closed my eyes, and I tried spurring again and trying to lift my knees to my chest, just like a bareback riding. And he seen that twitch again.
Wow.
And it was from that moment on, like I thought, I've got a chance, 5% chance. I still have a chance to do something great, to leave my legacy and to walk again. And so we worked hard. Plans kind of changed. We worked even harder, and I was pretty fortunate to have that opportunity.
Well, I have to admit, when I met you, and I'd heard about this accident, but I honestly didn't know what condition you were in. So I wasn't quite sure what to expect. And I was impressed because you walked into this arena that we went and were there. But then you did something that surprised me even more. There's an expression that, when you get hurt, you get back on the horse. Well, so here's you, a kid that's been paralyzed. You're doing a little bow-legged walk, but for all I know, maybe you'd done that before. I don't know.
A little bow-legged.
But you then got on a horse in front of me. I was like, oh my gosh. What was it like the first time you tried to get back on that horse?
It's hard. I think we all have challenges we had to overcome, and it was a fear that I knew I had to overcome. Just getting back on a saddle horse, a horse that's broke, tamed.
Right.
And it was mentally hard. Physically, it was hard to kind of stay in the saddle at the time. I was still working on getting mobility and muscle back, but it was almost unreal. I feel so blessed, feel lucky that I can actually even sit back on that horse. And been team roping a little bit now. I haven't got back on a bucking horse yet.
No.
But team roping.
What in the world possessed you to want to get into rodeo?
I love life, for one. I love trying new things. And rodeo, I have some friends that have high school rodeoed and were involved in rodeo. And I've been around them, and I thought, let's try it. So I went to my friend's house, got on a bull, a practice bull that he had, rode the first one. I got on a second one, rode it pretty good. I mean, it's a little like different levels, there. And I got on a third one, and that third bucking bull was like the real deal.
Oh, yeah.
And man, that bull kicked out, 2 jumped me, I chili whopped me to the ground, and made me rethink if I wanted to really, ride. And so it was my junior year of high school. I finished playing football, basketball. I didn't want to rodeo.
Right.
And I came back to the idea of rodeoing when I was 22 years old.
Okay.
22 years old, and got on my first bareback horse. Some influence from the legend and one of my heroes, Louis Field, and his son Casey Field, introduced me to the sport, and it lit my soul on fire the first time I rode a bucking horse. It's a feeling that I can't put into words. I love it.
So what's the difference between riding a bucking horse and a bull?
So a bucking bull, they kind of, the cowboys would joke and laugh. It's kind of like a dance, you match. You kind of match for match the bull. You're a part of the bull. Bareback riding is more like a fight. I mean, it's
oh boy.
It is.
Okay.
It's like if you want to know what riding a bucking horse is like, put your hand in a vice grip attached to a car and roll it off the cliff and hang on.
Wow.
You have to be tough, and it's probably one of the most physical sports I've tried. I played basketball, football. Riding bucking horse is one of the most physical sports I've done, but yet I loved it the most. It's a fight.
You got a tough spirit, okay?
Thank you.
And there's a phrase called Braxten Tough. What in the world is Braxten Tough?
Man, it kind of gets me emotional just thinking of where it came from. The night I got hurt, it was a Thursday night. My football coach from back in high school, by Friday at 3 o'clock, he already arranged some shirts to be made, a nonprofit deal to be made, and he had the whole football team and everybody at this football game Friday night had a shirt on it with number 3. That's what I was in high school, basketball, football, baseball, number 3. So, and it said Braxten Tough, number 3. And I had the whole support from my community behind me that, and that was pretty humbling time. In a short amount of time that they came up with that. My football coach came up with Braxten Tough. And, it's part of my story. It's part of who I am and where I come from.
Now that Braxten Tough message you're spreading, tell me about that.
Life's hard. Life presents challenges, but I truly believe that every human being, every one of us, are born to succeed. We're born tough. We can do tough things. We can get through tough times. And even though our stories may be not the same, but what we do have the same is going through it and being tough.
So I understand you're speaking to groups and spreading this message. What kind of people are you talking to?
Anyone that listened to me.
Yeah.
I've been able to go from elementary to high school, all the grades, and then I've been able to speak to a couple businesses and a couple corporations now, and it's been fun getting to talk about how to create a vision, being able to set goals, plans, being accountable, and truly knowing your self-worth.
What legacy do you want to leave?
You know what? I want my kids, my grandkids, and to leave my legacy that I was a competitor at life, trying to be the very best I could be. I was a hard worker, I was a great friend, and I wasn't afraid. And I was tough.
Braxten Tough.
Braxten Tough, right.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Braxten, for coming on Jessop's Journal.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you very much, and thanks for all you do.
One of my favorite inspirational quotes is from Audrey Hepburn. She said, "To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow." Everyone has a story, and sometimes those stories are told through music, especially when you're a cowboy. It's time for Jessop's Jukebox. You've heard that phrase, "there's no place like home"? Well, apparently it works for cowboys too. With the title track off his album, Cowboy Coming Home, Chris Petersen. Take it away.
If you could take a look inside the dashboard of my soul, I bet the odometer would have turned over about 1,000,000 miles ago. And if I had $1 for every horse I ever wore through a Tony Llama boot, I'd have enough cash to top off this tank, and this old truck would be brand new. But I can see that porch light burning and see that sweet smile on your face. And keeps these headlights westbound, hammered down and through that driving rain. Every mile of blacktop highway, every white line in between, every view of blue Montana sky, baby, it's your eyes I see. So let this dream I'm chasing take me anywhere those four winds blow. Girl, you always keep this cowboy coming home. I pull over for a shot of that jet fuel in a Flying J styrofoam cup. Then it's back on the interstate state line at Review, and I bet with a little bit of luck I'll be crossing that cattle guard right about supper time. And I know through that front door is an angel sent down to earth, wearing my old flannel shirt, everything I'm living for. Every mile of blacktop highway, every white line in between, every view of blue Montana sky, baby, it's your eyes I see. So let this dream I'm chasing take me anywhere those four winds blow. Girl, you always keep this cowboy coming home. There ain't no Arizona sunset, ain't no beach in Malibu, ain't no peak in Colorado that takes my breath away like you. So let this dream I'm chasing take me anywhere those four winds blow. Girl, you always keep this cowboy coming home.
You know how I say everyone has a story? Well, all my hats have stories too. This hat is a replica of one of those that was worn at that famous meeting of the rails. It's called the Gandy. If you're a person of a certain age, or you know this particular kind of music, there's a phrase, Waylynn, Willie, and the Boys. Well, this next person carries that moniker proudly every single day. Waylynn, it is time to sign into Jessop's Journal.
I'm excited.
In this episode of Jessop's Journal, I have the illustrious Waylynn Lucas.
Hi.
How y'all? I did find out about you, true confession, with this picture that Chris Dickinson did.
Yes.
Okay, and there's these two juxtapositions, I like to say. Okay, so it kind of reminded me a little bit of Mad Max. Okay,
yeah.
so there's this guy in a 1930-something Panhead Harley.
Yes.
Okay, he's got the bald head. I mean, it just looks like, you know, the
Pretty-
horse,
yeah.
the iron horse out of hell or something, you know? And then all the smoke and the dust. And then here's this woman, she's going, you know, It might have been that hat, I'm not sure, but your hair is blowing and everything.
Yeah.
So what's the backstory on that picture?
Chris told us to drive out into the middle of the desert and said he found a perfect dirt road that was lined with sagebrush, as he liked to put it, in case things got ranchy, I could bail off my horse. Because I have to say, I've never raced a motorcycle on horseback before, so I wasn't sure how it was going to go. But man, it was so much fun, very Mad Max-ish, very just raw, Wild West, and I love that juxtaposition of the motorcycle, and I also ride motorcycles. Well, I haven't in a while. I gave it up a little bit. But so I just really love those two worlds coming together, and it was a lot of fun.
I got the impression from that photograph that you've ridden a couple horses.
Yeah, a few.
Okay. Do you remember how old you were when you got on a horse for the first time?
I was on a horse before I could walk. I was on a horse when I was still in diapers. I grew up with horses. When I was born, my parents raised racehorses out in a ranch out in California, in Mission Viejo. So I was doomed from the start. I didn't stand a chance.
I'm guessing that horses have different personalities.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever worked with a horse that you think kind of reminded you of you?
Yes, I think that's it might be one of those sort of which came first, the chicken or the egg thing, but I think why horses are such amazing therapeutic teaching animals is every horse I've ever really had a relationship with and spent time with, there was always a lesson there. There was always a reflection in myself. And whether it's just the horse, and so that horse was brought into my life to teach me that lesson, or whether it's I'm putting my garbage and my issues onto the horse and therefore it's reflected back at me because I need to work on it. But it's funny, people, the horse trainers and people, and help me out with my horse has an issue, it's this and that. The horse never has the issue, it's the person. It's the person that's putting the issue on the horse. But gosh, talk about staring at myself and learning the hard lessons and seeing the truths about myself that aren't always so easy to see. But wow, the growth and getting on the other side of that, and to do it alongside a horse. I don't think it really can be done any other way. Relationships, marriage, that's those close connections that sort of reveal the lesser desirable parts of yourself.
Sometimes it's like, okay, And talking about relationships, I think we all have a relationship with food, okay? So some people watching this are going, ask her the question about the Food Network.
I have been extremely fortunate. When I set out into the world of food, which was a career change for me, I never thought in a million years, and it was never even on my radar that I would end up and be on TV. But I've been so fortunate to somehow be deemed an expert in my field, I guess, if you will, with all my training in restaurants and phenomenal chefs that I've had the fortune and the opportunity to work under. So I get to judge cake competition shows on the Food Network, which basically means I get paid to eat cake.
Let them eat cake.
Right.
Waylynn, we bring you cake. On the one hand, it's quote unquote reality TV. On the other hand, it's semi-scripted TV. You want to explain to people what the difference is on that?
What you're watching on TV, then they're there, they're doing it, they're baking it. They're, you know what I mean? They obviously they know to plan and travel and get that they're going to be on the show, so they have the opportunity to memorize those recipes and really study up and all those things. But what you're seeing and you're watching, they're doing it. And I will tell you, just to let you know how real it is I have eaten cakes where they have forgotten the sugar. Where they've forgotten the oil. Basically, what I'm saying is I've eaten cakes that taste like cardboard because you don't really think about it and realize the pressure of cameras on you and a time clock and people yelling at you, 10 minutes left, 30, 5 minutes left. It's a very high pressure, high stress situation. And so sometimes some of those key ingredients go right out the window, but I have to eat it anyway. So
with a smile.
Yep.
Hey, where's my hat? No.
Try and and give constructive criticism wherever possible.
I've got a nephew that's a Marine, okay? He's not active duty now, but he will always be a Marine. Okay, is it the same thing with chef? I mean, do you kind of keep that title for life?
Yeah, for life.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't ever, it's one of those things that it becomes part of your being, part of your DNA. It never leaves you. You're always, you know, a chef. I am a very different chef than I once was. Funny story, actually.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Okay.
I left the restaurant industry because it was insanely grueling, long days, long hours.
Right.
I had no life. I didn't see my friends. I didn't see my family. And I became this bitter, angry, throwing pots and pans sort of person, and I had to stop and say, this is not why I got into this. I got into this to connect and make people happy and smile and bring them food and, you know, have that happy relationship. So I left the restaurant industry. I ended up opening a bakery in LA, and we had just opened. It was very early on, so you know, all eyes were on us, and everyone's very critical and quick to judge, and everyone wants to catch you in a mistake. And so I was inspecting. The bakery was called Faux Nuts. It was baked donuts. So I was going through with a glove on, inspecting all the donuts, and I found one of them was undercooked. And so there was this open window, and I threw it at the oven, and all my employees were standing back there behind me, and I started screaming, just horrible, hurtful, mean, just angry screaming. And I'm going through and I'm pulling all the donuts out of the case, and I'm throwing them, you know, and not at the employees, but in their general direction to make a point. And I was so mad. And so throwing the donuts one at a time didn't cut it anymore. So I pulled a sheet tray out. And I took the whole thing and I threw it up in the air and I slammed it on the ground.
Yes.
And well, there's this thing called gravity. So they went up, they came down, and the sheet tray and the impact, all the donuts came back up and came right down on me. I never yelled. I never raised my voice. I was never nasty. Another moment after that.
You have an intriguing name. Okay.
Yes.
You know, I could just be totally off base, but you know, I'm just wondering if you know Waylynn and Willie and the boys, you know?
Yes, I do know Waylynn, Willie, and the boys. My godfather is Waylynn Jennings, so whether I was a boy or a girl, by golly, I was going to be named Waylynn. But they changed the spelling to make it a little more feminine, which, you know, I like and appreciate, but still growing up and still everyone hears my name and they always look for, you know, a guy.
I figured it was a combination of Waylynn Jennings and Loretta Lynn.
Hey, I like the way you're thinking. I like that. So I have a little, I call it my ranch where I live. It's like a little mini farm ranch, and I have, I think, maybe 35 animals now, and they are all old, classic country western names. So my horse is named Hank.
Okay.
My chickens, we have Dolly, Tammy, Winona, Loretta. I have a baby donkey named Emmy Lou. I mean, they're all named after the country greats.
Yes, there you go. Okay, the official last question of the interview. Here we go. So, Waylynn.
Yes.
How do you want to leave your mark?
By making a difference, by giving back. I try and use my platform and my name, and that I have a little tiny bit of a following from what I do on TV and things, and I try and be very open and real about my life and my past and my history and be relatable, and I really try and be authentic. I think in this day and age, especially with social media, it paints this picture that everything is perfect, and I try and share the not so perfect things about me and my life and the things that I, you know, overcome and still have to overcome and deal with on a daily basis, and that for me is how I want to leave a mark. I want to, you know, inspire people to chase their dreams and to be real and authentic. And if the crazy, horrible things that I've gone through in my life, if I can help somebody who's maybe going through those as well, I want to share that and, you know, be that person. And it really has become about me wanting to leave my mark of helping and giving back, and just even if it's just one person, making a little bit of a difference.
Well, thank you very, very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Life is never boring. Sometimes you have something I like to call the wonderful world of regret. If you've ever had a tattoo or permanent makeup that you've fallen out of love with, The folks at Tattoo Away have come up with a pretty cool system that literally removes the ink out of the skin. Do you know where your food comes from? When I was a kid, my parents were slightly concerned about their slightly rebellious son that had the really long hair. So they sent me up to my cousin's dairy farm to work the summers. Well, let's just say this story brought back some memories.
Hi, littles. These babies have been 24 hours down in the neonatal barn where they are loved like the babies that they are. They are the future of our herd.
It's clear that the Nye family, owners of Mountain View Dairy, deeply care about their cows and have deep roots in the dairy industry. Maria Nye's great-grandmother had a herd of 13 cows back in Ireland. How would she feel about the Nye herd of about 5,000 cows in Millard County?
My great-grandmother would probably say, "Mercy Maud." She'd be amazed at the technology and the growth that the dairy industry has had, but she'd be pretty proud of us for sticking to the family goals.
That caring tradition has been passed down to the next generation of the Nye clan. Daughter-in-law Kate explains how they keep the cows cool.
The cows are waiting to be milked. They're getting soaked down the whole time, and then we soak them again as they're exiting the barn. And we say that that reduces the cow's temperature by about 15 or 20 degrees.
Really? Working on a dairy farm is hard work with long hours that has paid off for a number of dairies in Millard County with a partnership with Danone North America, makers of Dannon yogurt. Chances are, if you find yourself eating Dannon yogurt here in Utah, the milk to make that yogurt came from Millard County and its herd of over 20,000 dairy cows.
They want the best product they can get for their yogurt, and they want to work with people who care about their cows, care about their employees and their people, and are strong families. And that turned out to be a good match for us.
That Millard County milk makes its way 125 miles north to West Jordan. Once it gets here, that's when the magic begins. They offload it from that tanker truck coming from Millard County, send it to their raw milk silos, and start the process of making yogurt. Lots of yogurt. They go through 2 million pounds of raw milk in a day. That's about 25 tanker trucks in one day. That's 3 million cups of yogurt. Yeah, in one day. After a day out in the field, you need to make sure you wash your hands. And you need to make sure you wash your nose. XLEAR nasal spray washes away the bacteria and helps you breathe better. So come on, join me. Let's take a deep breath and relax. Thanks for watching this episode of Jessop's Journal. It's my honor to be able to tell powerful, positive, and inspirational stories on TV every week, as well as online at jessopsjournal.com. Everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand each other. With another entry into Jessop's Journal, I'm Doug Jessop.